Hey guys, welcome to the review show. My name's Austin. Origin stars Aunjanue Ellis. Author Isabel Wilkerson writes her book Cast: The Origin of Our Discontent while coping with personal tragedy. This movie is going to have a lot of controversy and sort of somewhat backlash to it because there's going to be a lot of people that are going to have a hard time sitting through this type of movie because this movie dives into a lot of stuff about race and like if it's even like if something happens, if it is it racism and all that. It's a heavy topic type of movie, and I like this is a movie I don't even know how to talk about without trying not to think of if what I say will piss somebody off. This is a movie that will get on. This will push somebody in the wrong way or nudge somebody in the wrong way. This movie really dives into the question: is it racism when something bad happens, or is it just that it's been something that's been part of our nature so long. That's what it feels natural to be that way. And not, don't get me wrong, there is definitely racism in the world. This movie isn't saying like, oh, it's not racist. It's caste, and that's what this is what all this word has been thrown around a lot in the film is that it's caste. It's part of the hierarchy. It's how we built up things, and like that's just how the world was formed. And now it's time to rebuild and change all that. That's what the movie goes into. But it's not saying that racism isn't a thing or that you cannot define it by. You can't say that it's racism. That's not what the movie is trying to say. It's trying to actually say that there's a bigger picture here than just racism. And it dives into a lot of that. Aunjanue Ellis plays this writer named Isabel, and so we see her a lot going around, travel to like Germany or India, and to listens to all these people's different stories, and and it all connects back to like some point in history. It might not all have the same outcome, but it all has the same origin, and that's the thing that she's trying to prove by writing this book. And so we see all those pieces connect together, and it's like, and when you hear all these different stories from all these different people, it's like, oh wow, it's like that's some dark ass shit. It's a very emotional film. It's very well directed, beautiful shots, beautiful directing, a lot of cinematography that you don't really usually see in movies, and it's a lot of like phrasing type of words that you have to think about. The only really negative thing I have about this film, actually two negative things, is that it can feel like it drags a bit towards the end. Like your mind somewhat starts like wandering a bit towards the end, because you do feel like you're hearing the same thing over and over again at some point in the film. But I think I think that's the point. That's like at some point in the in the movie, everyone starts saying the same thing, but it's also different people from two different races and from two different like cultures and all of that. So I think it's the idea of like they're all saying the same thing, but they might have the same, like they might have different outcomes, but they're all saying the same thing. I think that's the point that they're trying to make. But your mind starts to wander a bit after constantly hearing the same thing over and over. It's like, okay, we get it. Can we get to the point type of deal? And there's this love story as well, like this personal like tragedy that's going on in the film with our main character Isabel. And it does feel like it's secondary. It is definitely secondary, but it felt like it was not enough fully like fleshed out in the movie. There's bits where it's like, wait, we're suddenly talking about your loss now. It's like, how did we talk about that? Like, it's like there's some scenes that don't like correlate very well or line up too well enough to make it feel seamless when they like there's not enough tissue between the scenes to feel like there's a connection between her tragedy and what the movie is trying to go for. So you have these two different like lines crossing, and they just don't match up. And but with this like tragedy and this love story with like John Bernthal's character, you do feel their chemistry. John Bernthal does a great job in the film, and when the limited screen time that he has, you really do feel his character, and by the end you do feel this like whoa, like it really does hit you. But besides those two negatives, I did really enjoy this film a lot. It's a heavy topic type of movie, so this might not be for everyone, but it's like the saying of like it's not something you want to hear, but it's something that you need to hear. I feel like it's the same way you can say about this movie. It might not be this movie that you want to see, but it's the movie that you need to see. So it's kind of, so take it with a grain of salt. Hopefully, I didn't piss anyone off in the comments, but that's just that's impossible not to do. I literally had a comment the other day on the Walking Dead video of the first episode of a guy saying like, "Oh, you guys make too many jokes." It's like, well, I didn't make any jokes here. Besides about your comment, you're the only thing I joke about. I'm gonna give Origin a B plus. It's a very heavy film, so I recommend you guys checking it out when it comes on. Comes out in theaters on January 19th, I believe. So it's next week. There is a couple early screenings, so just check out. Just take a look at your movie theater app, or like look around at your movie theater locations to see if there's might be a couple early screens for you guys. I recommend you guys taking a look at this film if you guys are interested into a heavy weighted film emotionally. So yeah. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Like always, I'll see you guys in the next review. Bye, guys.